The member from Kenora-Rainy River.
Thank you, Speaker. My question is for the Premier. People living on reserves in Canada are 10 times more likely to die in a house fire than in the rest of Canada. The community of Pikangikum knows this reality better than most after last week's deadly fire that wiped out 9 lives, 3 generations, Speaker, living under one roof. Does the Premier support the community's calls for an immediate coroner's inquest that will look into the social, economic and cultural factors that led to this tragedy?
Good question.
Mr. Speaker, I know that the Minister of Community Safety and Correctional Services is going to want to speak to this, but I want to just say that this was a terrible tragedy, and I agree with the community members and with the member of the third party who suggests that there are very deep-rooted and connected challenges that a community like Pikangikum is facing. I have been to Pikangikum, Mr. Speaker. I have met with the Band Council, and I am very aware that the advances that we must make on education. Pikangikum is one of the communities that doesn't have running water. There is clean water on the reserve, but it isn't connected to all of the homes, Mr. Speaker. And so those are the challenges that we need to move forward with. And we have strategies in place in terms of investment on the part of the provincial government. I'm very optimistic that now that we have a federal government that is paying attention to this issue, we are actually going to make even more progress, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Supplementary.
Speaker, the community needs to know that just because there are fewer stories being written in the media today, that there won't be any less action from the government. Pikangikum has a fire truck but no running water to its homes, Speaker, as the Premier mentioned. It has overcrowded, dilapidated homes. The conditions are there today for another deadly fire. My question is, what is the Premier, not any other level of government, irrespective of any other level of government, but what is the Premier going to do to prevent another needless deadly fire in not only Pikangikum, but in other remote First Nation communities throughout Treaty 9 and beyond?
Here, here. Thank you. Premier.
Mr. Speaker, again, I will say that the challenges that are confronting a community like Pikangikum, but Pikangikum in particular, are multifaceted, as the member has said. That is why our Minister of Aboriginal Affairs is working across government in terms of economic growth opportunities, health improvement, health outcome improvement issues, Mr. Speaker. We're developing a strategy, an education strategy, Aboriginal education strategy, because we know that Aboriginal, Indigenous kids are graduating at a much lower rate than the rest of the population, Mr. Speaker. All of those things are critical, but also critical are very tangible issues like housing, like water, Mr. Speaker, making sure that we get communities off boil water orders, that we hook up the clean water on Pikangikum to communities. Mr. Speaker, this is a high priority of ours, and as I said, now that we have a federal government that's interested in this issue, we'll be able to move forward more quickly.
Thank you.